As the year draws to a close and the last of the autumn leaves fall, our minds often turn to putting the garden to bed. For many of us, this means spreading a thick, generous layer of compost over our vegetable beds and borders. It is a ritual we have followed for years. We believe this is the best way to feed the soil and prepare it for the spring ahead. This practice feels right, like tucking our soil in with a warm blanket. But I want you to consider something a little different this year. What if this trusted method is not the most effective use of your precious, homemade compost during the coldest months? The truth is, the way we treat our soil in winter can make a huge difference come spring. We often think of soil as simply dirt, but it is so much more. It is a living, breathing community of countless organisms. These microbes, fungi, and worms are the engines of a healthy garden. They are the ones who break down organic matter and release vital nutrients for our plants. Therefore, our main job as gardeners is not just to feed the plants, but to feed the soil itself. We must ensure this underground world is protected and supported, especially when the weather turns harsh and the ground grows cold. This brings us back to that familiar winter blanket of compost. While the intention is absolutely correct, the timing might be slightly off. We are adding a feast to the table, but the guests, the soil microbes, are sleepy and slow in the cold. It is a bit like preparing a grand banquet in the middle of the night when everyone is asleep. The food is wonderful, but it will not be eaten until morning. This winter, I want to introduce you to a method that works with the quiet season, rather than against it. It is a technique that builds a better foundation for the spring. So, I invite you to put your spade down for a moment and listen. There is a simple, yet powerful, alternative to winter composting. It is a trick that many seasoned gardeners use to protect their soil, improve its structure, and prepare it for the explosion of growth in the spring. It does not require any fancy equipment or expensive products. In fact, it starts with something you probably have lying around the house right now. This method focuses on creating a perfect habitat for soil life, ready for them to get to work as soon as the warmth returns. Compost is the absolute heart of a good garden, and I would never suggest you stop making it. It is black gold, full of life and nutrients. We use it to improve soil texture, feed our plants, and return organic matter to the earth. In the spring and summer, adding compost to your soil is one of the best things you can do. The warmth in the soil means that the microorganisms are active and hungry. They will immediately get to work, breaking down the compost, incorporating it into the soil, and releasing all that goodness for your plants to absorb and use for vigorous growth. However, winter is a different story altogether. As the temperatures drop, the life within the soil slows down dramatically. The bacteria, fungi, and worms that are responsible for decomposition become sluggish. Their metabolic rates decrease, and they enter a state of near dormancy. When you spread a layer of fresh compost on cold, wet ground, it mostly just sits there. The decomposition process, which is so lively in warmer months, grinds to a near halt. The nutrients remain locked up, unavailable to the soil, and a lot of the potential benefit is postponed until the weather warms up again. The issue is not just that the compost does not break down. Cold, wet winter conditions can cause other problems for that surface layer of organic matter. It can become compacted by heavy rain and snow, forming a dense, sodden mat on top of your soil. This can prevent air from reaching the soil surface, potentially creating anaerobic conditions, which are not healthy for the beneficial microbes you want to encourage. Furthermore, some of the valuable water-soluble nutrients like nitrogen can be washed away by winter rains before the soil life has a chance to secure them, a process known as leaching. So, while it feels like you are doing the right thing, spreading compost in the depths of winter is often inefficient. You are giving the soil a wonderful meal, but you are serving it at the wrong time. The soil community is simply too cold to enjoy the feast. Much of the benefit is delayed, and some of it can even be lost to the elements. It is far better to save your well-rotted compost for the spring, when the soil is waking up and can make immediate use of it. Instead, we can use a different technique to protect and prepare our soil through the winter. The alternative I want to share is a simple two-part system, cardboard and biochar. This method is not about feeding the soil in the short term. It is about creating the perfect winter shelter that builds long-term health and structure. First, let's talk about cardboard. Plain brown cardboard, with any plastic tape removed, is a fantastic material for the garden. When you lay it flat on your soil, it acts as a brilliant weed suppressant. It smothers any persistent winter weeds and prevents new ones from germinating, giving you a clean start in the spring. It is a simple, effective, and free way to manage weeds. But the cardboard does much more than just block weeds. It acts as a protective mulch layer, insulating the soil from the harshest winter weather. It shields the surface from being battered by heavy rain, which can destroy soil structure and cause compaction. Underneath this cardboard shield, the soil remains looser and more open. It also provides a wonderful habitat for earthworms and other beneficial creatures. They are drawn to the dark, moist conditions under the cardboard, where they will continue to work, aerating the soil and creating a healthy environment, even when a frost is on the ground above. Now for the second and perhaps more secret ingredient, biochar. Biochar is essentially a very stable form of charcoal, made by heating organic material in a low-oxygen environment. It is not a fertilizer. Its magic lies in its structure. Biochar is incredibly porous, like a sponge. Its vast internal surface area is the perfect home for beneficial soil microbes. Before you use it, you must charge it by soaking it in a nutrient-rich liquid, like compost tea or a seaweed feed. This fills all those tiny pores with nutrients and moisture, turning the biochar into a microbial hotel that is fully stocked. When you sprinkle this charged biochar onto the soil before laying down your cardboard, you are creating a long-lasting framework for soil fertility. The biochar provides a permanent home for the microbial life, protecting them from being washed away. It helps the soil retain both water and nutrients, making them available to plant roots when they need them. Over the winter, the worms will help to draw the biochar down into the soil. By the time spring arrives, you will have a soil structure that is not only protected, but is primed and ready for planting with a thriving, built-in microbial community. Let us compare this cardboard and biochar method directly with winter composting. When you spread compost, you are applying a food source that cannot be fully utilized in the cold. It sits on the surface, exposed to the elements, and its nutrients can be leached away by rain. In contrast, the cardboard and biochar method focuses on structure and protection. The cardboard acts as a physical barrier, preserving the soil's crumbly texture and preventing weed growth. It decomposes slowly, providing a long-term food source for worms and fungi, which will gradually incorporate it into the soil from below. The charged biochar offers a benefit that compost alone cannot. While compost provides a temporary boost of nutrients and organic matter, biochar provides a permanent structural improvement. It acts like a reef, creating a lasting habitat that anchors microbial life in your soil for years, even decades. It improves drainage in heavy clay soils and increases water retention in sandy soils. This means your garden will be more resilient to both drought and heavy rainfall. You are not just feeding the soil for one season, you are fundamentally improving its physical properties for the long term. The steps to apply this method are wonderfully simple. First, clear your bed of any old crops and debris. Then, if you have it, spread a layer of your charged biochar over the soil surface. Next, lay down your sheets of plain brown cardboard, making sure to overlap the edges to block out all light. Remove any plastic tape or labels. Finally, weigh the cardboard down with a few stones or bricks to stop it from blowing away. That is it. You can now leave your bed until you are ready to plant in the spring. The worms and microbes will do the work for you. When spring arrives, you will find the soil beneath the cardboard is dark, moist, and wonderfully friable. The cardboard will be soft and starting to break down, and you can plant directly through it. This simple winter job sets your garden up for incredible success. Your soil will have better structure, superior water retention, and a robust population of beneficial microbes ready to support your plants. So I urge you, give this method a try on one of your beds this winter. It is a small change in your routine, but it will pay you back with a healthier, more resilient, and more productive garden for years to come.